This is Francesco Abbruzzino with the Scoop News. What you're seeing is I decided to go down to the beach. I was just bored, looking for something to do. I was up in Sarasota earlier, did the Sprouts thing. So I went down, took the shirt off, thought I'd get some sun. The wind is on offshore, so it's pushing the smell away. And I thought, well, let me go check it out. Got to the jetty. Wasn't that bad. You couldn't smell that bad. On the way there, though, I noticed a lot of the condos, the beach row, on the way to the Venice jetty, there's a bunch of condos where basically most of them are snowbirds or tourists, and they were basically all empty. Some had a few cars in it, but essentially a ghost town. Got to the jetty, a couple people out there. Jetty Jacks is open. I'm sure they're suffering big time because there really was not a lot of people out there. Boat traffic, I think I maybe saw 3 or 4 vehicles at the jetty boat ramp, and then I saw a few boats out in the water. So I decided to go out for a walk and just check out the beach. And what you're seeing up here at the top are different pictures of different fish that I took. And what you're seeing at the bottom, you probably can't see it too clear even when it's enlarged, are the birds. I saw little, what I thought are little sandpiper type birds. There they go. They're flying off right now. Those are the only birds I saw. I didn't see any pelicans. I didn't see any seagulls. Those birds there, what's interesting is they were feasting on carcasses on the water, different thing. And it's obviously, you could tell by the water. Not sure if you can see it here, but because I'm colorblind, but you could definitely see it was discolored when I was down there. One thing I left off, if you were watching the meeting last night, they said it was the lady. The only comment the lady made, I think she was doctor was with FWC or something like that. And she was talking about how the drop-off in the birds and how it's been a travesty since what happens is basically they come down, they might feast on a fish or on any organisms in the red tide, and they're taking off. Next thing you know, they're suffering paralysis, and then they can't breathe and they're dropping from the sky. I believe as I was sitting there filming it last night, I saw a few people say, oh yeah, my son had one drop right in front of me from 10 feet high. And so that's what you're seeing is a lot of these birds are dropping off. I really am interested in finding out what's up with the pelicans. Where are all the pelicans? As you guys know, I filmed down there a lot, and I always see pelicans everywhere there. I haven't seen any the last few trips. Her concern was when the migration starts, which will be soon, and the birds start migrating down from the north. What kind of devastation will we be if this is still in play? Which is a concern of hers. What I noticed is the beach wasn't being cleaned. I'm not sure how many of these you can see up close, but I mean, you're looking at the skeletons. It's pretty much clear and obvious to me, some of them sunburnt it seem like, that these fish have been out there for a while. Look at that. You can tell by those. They're totally, those fish have been there for a while. And I'm sure the county's doing their job, pulling up what they said, tons and tons of fish on a regular basis. But it seems like something else more could be done. And one question I was wondering is if the city of Sarasota, I know, has declared emergency, state of emergency. County has. Venice has not. But I'm wondering if we declare a state of emergency, would that open funds to clean this ourselves and hire contractors to go out and clean this? Because, when I first got there, I saw some tourists. They went down to the jetty. They stopped and turned around and came back. I think they were they were foreigners. So how many people is that happening to? And how will word travel when they get back? You could probably, if you clean this beach up, you could probably pull it off and they'd have an enjoyable time. But right now, you got dead carcasses everywhere. The flies were horrendous. I was being bitten left and right by all the flies. These hose, I couldn't quite get it. I got it in another video, but you couldn't see them coming out. There's these little hose burrowed into the sand everywhere. And once you go near it, a ton of flies and bugs come scrambling out of them. And it got me wondering, are fish buried under that? I said yesterday where the Sarasota County guy remained silent when they talked about Lee County burying the fish in the sand because they had nowhere to bring them. And I had to wonder, is that happening here? Or is it just through the erosion and the sand shifting and stuff? Are they being buried? And one of the concerns that one of the advocates on there said is, what happens when they're leaving all this disease and everything that comes with these red tide fatalities, these fish, is in the sand. When the sand gets washed in the water, or if someone comes and someone lays right there and they don't realize they're laying on sand that had buried these fish that died from this neurotoxin. It was very interesting. So, in this red tide status update, I was going to write an article, and I said, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like writing an article. I'll just do a quick video report. Been writing a lot of articles. But you got to wonder, A, what's the county doing? Why aren't they cleaning this up? B, if Venice would declare a state of emergency, would they be able to use funds, the limited amount of funds that are available, towards getting contractors to clean this up? I have seen some emails where Hollick's gone back and forth wanting records of how often Caspels, he was targeting Caspels, has been cleaned up, and making sure that the sheriff's offender program and the county's cleanup program aren't ignoring them. But you don't have to request records for that. You can just walk the beach and see. I mean, I walked down that's the jetty in the distance, as you can see there. I walked a pretty good distance and just lined with dead fish. The smell does get bad at certain points, especially if they're fresher kills. And that's it. So that's your jetty. Jetty is empty, not a lot of traction, very limited amount of tourists down there. All those condo parking lots are empty. The beach is empty. I think I saw a couple people down at the jetty. No boats out. It's not your typical August in Venice, Florida, in Sarasota County for that matter. And the fish aren't being cleaned up. It smells. Flies are everywhere. And, one other thing I did notice, I was sweating a lot. And my eyes started getting irritated. And I surf a lot. And I surf in red tide a lot of times like an idiot. And it felt like that. Like something was aggravating it and getting in there. So even though you don't smell it and you don't see a lot of... Last night at the meeting, they said the white water at the beach break right there is where all the mist and is where it's most dangerous. They said don't get kids, elderly near where you see the white caps crashing on the beach. And the bigger the wave, the more it'll carry. The more neurotoxins will be there. But even when it's like this, it's carrying because I got it in my eyes. Food for thought. All right, guys. This has been Frankie. It's 12:26. I got to find something to do. I'm going to watch some soccer in a bit, but maybe I'll work. I'll work on some telephonics medical consulting, do some coding. Oh, yeah, in terms of illnesses, I had someone send me something where an individual died, and they said it was pneumonia, and everyone's talking about that it was brought on by the restaurant that's right there on the beach. I'm not going to name the restaurant, and that it was induced somewhat by the red tide and the neurotoxins. I'm telling you guys, this neurotoxin stuff, the serotoxin, I think they called it, Syrah, I can't pronounce it correctly. I mean, that stuff brings on dementia, ALS, all kinds of stuff. It's a neurotoxin. You have to be careful out there, folks. Unhealthy situation. And as one guy said yesterday, where's the CDC? Where are all the federal authorities? Why isn't more action being taken? Why is it limited funds? State of emergency, limited funds. What he's offering is very limited, folks. The interest rate to these businesses is ridiculous. 18%. Some small businesses don't even qualify. And I think this is only the beginning. You're going to see a horrible, horrible season. And you're going to see a lot of mom and pop businesses going out of business. You're going to see a lot of people that rely on that season for income, waitresses, cooks, all those folks, suffering due to all this. Where's their relief? Where's the relief for the people that have increased medical billings because of this? You don't see anything like that. Where is their relief? That's the question. All right, folks, this has been Frankie Abbruzzino with The Scoop News.